Howdy guys, how's it going? So next down the list for picking out the best / my personal favorite weapon per category, per weapon class, we got the LMGs. Finished up the shotguns, went over them yesterday. But now for this, we're going to be starting at the bottom of the list with the newest, the newest weapon that you was able to unlock, which is the Bruin MK9 LMG shooting the old 5.56. And this gun, to be, like I said, what I consider to be a DLC weapon, is just, it's okay, but it wasn't nothing that amazing. Like, it's got a really nice rate of fire, and you can take and throw on some attachments to make it really run either as a really fast-paced LMG or more of a heavyweight AR playstyle. So I mean, it's definitely fun for multiplayer, but I've used it a bit. I've tried using it a bit in Warzone, and it just gets outshined by a lot of the other LMGs. So this is one that's definitely worth, going through and unlocking and leveling up and, getting camos for it and stuff if you want to, especially, if you've already done it for all the other weapons and you're just looking for something kind of new to spice the game up. I definitely recommend, using it because it is fun to play with. But nothing that I would, try to go for any crazy good kill games. I mean, you obviously can. You can do that with any gun, and it's not that hard to do. But if it all came down to the line, this is not a gun I'd go for. But next up, we got the Holger 26. This was also one of the weapons that I can't remember if you got this out of the battle pass or if it was one that you unlocked. But I know it was added a wee bit later. It's very good in terms of ammo capacity and stuff off the rip. You got that 100 round drum mag. You can take on a short barrel, take off the stock, and then you can basically run it as an AR with the large ammo capacity. I mean, to me, it's pretty similar to some of the other ARs that you can throw the 100 round mag on. So, I mean, once again, nothing too crazy. It's okay in Warzone, but this is still an LMG that I try to stick with if I'm going to be using. If I want to use an LMG, I'll only use this in multiplayer, just because on Warzone, where this thing has a pretty good rate of fire, it's okay, but it just doesn't hit as hard as you need it to. Then going up to the MG34, the Salvage World War II style machine gun. I absolutely hate this thing with a passion. I do not like it at all. Okay, it's extremely accurate. Like, it is like just a laser beam, regardless of almost any of the attachments, unless you throw like the very shortest barrel and you don't put on nothing to kind of help maintain the recoil. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't like it. To me, despite the fact that it has phenomenal accuracy and you can laser people with it, especially in something like Warzone and stuff, it don't hit hard enough. I mean, it's got good damage, it's got very good range, a solid fire rate, but just something about it, me and this gun do not click whatsoever. So I would just highly recommend circumnavigating this right here weapon, unless obviously you're working on your camos and stuff, which in that case you kind of have to work with it and work around it and get all your stuff unlocked for it. But if you're going to do it, I'd recommend starting with this one because it is my least favorite, and it's always a good idea to get the crappy weapons out of the way first, so you ain't pulling out your hair by the end of the journey. Now for the M91, this is a LMG that I see some people like rock and roll with and do fine with it. But to me, it just really underperforms with just overall functionality. Like, I mainly refer to these for Warzone because LMGs are very dominant in Warzone because of the high ammo capacity and how you can change the mobility up versus how ARs get changed when you try to shift them into high ammo capacity and so on and so forth. But yeah, the M91 just doesn't hit hard enough for me. I mean, it's got a pretty decent fire rate on it. I mean, it says, up there, high caliber, sustained fire, neutralized targets at a long range. So, I mean, it's got good range and all that good old stuff, and it's fine to use in multiplayer if you're into using LMGs in multiplayer. But I mean, I wouldn't recommend that as much because you're definitely going to get beat out by most of the sub and AR configurations that people run and can run. But yeah, I would avoid using this. I mean, obviously in your Warzone you see it, you pick it up, but in terms of making a custom class, wouldn't recommend it. Now we got the SA87, okay, so this right here, you know, a bullpup style LMG, which can easily be converted into a to run as an AR. I definitely don't like running it as its LMG setup. Just something about it's kind of, I don't know, just feels awkward. It's got really good accuracy and a very solid fire rate, but it still runs the 5.56 rounds. So I mean, I would definitely choose the Bruin over this one. I've been thinking about doing an updated class setup for this one that I've found recently that works a lot better than the previous one. But, you know, I mean, I just don't have a whole lot to say about this one. I mean, this one isn't my least favorite. My least favorite is definitely the MG34. But if I had to categorize them, this right here would probably be my second least favorite. But now going up to the final one, the PKM. The good news is this thing right here is like the first LMG you get if you're new to the game. And it is my personal favorite, and I consider this to definitely be the best LMG in this game at the time of making this video, regardless of if you're trying to run it in multiplayer or if you're trying to run it in Warzone. Just because this thing hits super hard, it's got a very good fire rate for the damage that it has. Once you get the right attachments on, it's easy to control. Just check out my my best PKM class setup for multiplayer and for Warzone. It's basically the same thing. You can change it up here or there depending on what you're rocking and rolling with. It's just having that ability to throw on the 200 round belt attachment. You know, just give you basically a 200 round magazine underneath that's belt fed in the machine gun. And you know, you don't have to reload, especially in Warzone. You can easily take out a 4-man squad with those 200 rounds, like easy peasy lemon squeezy. And the other attachments allow the mobility to be phenomenal, especially for the accuracy and that type of ammo capacity. Like, you can throw that thing up a lot quicker than you would even really need to in most situations. And then I always run, you know, like I said, a dual wield or a sub as a secondary that I can switch to for those up close and personal situations. But yeah, guys, so I mean, for this one, kind of ran through each gun a little quicker and in less detail than I did the other ones, but all the LMGs are relatively, I mean, they're on the same playing field, and there's not a whole lot you can do to them in terms of variations like there are with the ARs and the SMGs and even the shotguns. Now that they added all those different rounds that you can switch up in the shotguns. So I mean, that's just the explanation for this. I mean, the LMGs are just the LMGs. You know, like I said, you can change them up, some of them to almost run as like a heavier AR, but for the most part, they're still going to be clunky. They're going to be heavy. Some of them have phenomenal accuracy. Some of them, once you kind of equip them out and kit them out to run with better mobility, aren't going to be too hot to play with unless you're just maybe on something like shipment, and then it's all ammo capacity and you just let them rounds fly down range as quick as possible. But anyways, guys, please hit me up with your feedback. Let me know what your you know, your favorite LMG is based on your experience, what you've messed around with. But I mean, for 127.5%, PKM is what I would recommend to anybody and everybody for Warzone, for multiplayer. But, you know, like I said, if you're working on your Damascus grind, then you're going to have to touch on all of them, get all of them, all the camos unlocked and everything. So just be prepared for that. I've got videos on all these. I kind of do need to do some updated class setup videos for some of these, which I will do. But yeah, guys, until the next one, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, share with your friends. Adios.